Good morning, everyone. My name is Ned Finn, and welcome back to the channel after a bit of a hiatus. I've been a busy person. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Everything's chill. I'm still alive, as far as you know. Welcome to Stellaris, Paradox Interactive's space thing. Recently got DLC added to it. I bought it. It was $20. I think it's quite good. I meant to do this video like a long time ago as a follow-up to the videos I did for Starbound, FTL, and Civilization Beyond Earth. Never got around to it. I recorded some footage of it and some audio for it, and I didn't really like how it was going, how the video was progressing, so I ended up just canning the footage. But we're back! We're gonna do it now, for reals this time. So, without further ado, let's start a new game. Yeah? And just for lols, I'm gonna just randomize an empire, because this, I might not, probably not gonna stick with this. Maybe I will, maybe it'll be a whole series. So, this is game details for the thing. We've randomized the empire, I'll explain that as we get to it. Galaxy size, tiny, 150 stars. That doesn't sound small, but the huge ones have 1,000 stars in them, so yeah. 3 other opponents. I don't think I want any advanced AI starts, especially with only 2 other empires in the game besides myself and them, so yeah. No fallen empires, regular amount of habitable worlds, normal AI aggressiveness, normal difficulty. There is no easy, there is normal, hard, and insane. Not eligible for achievements. That just means the only way that you can get achievements for the game is if you have Iron Man mode on, which is where you cannot save. And then, it's not that you can't save. You can't reload old saves. It's basically it turns off save scumming, which I don't want to do that yet. I'm still figuring stuff out. But yeah, so that's things. Yeah. Runs really smoothly as well, and the game presents itself so well. Oh, good, sweet, Jesus, what is that? The Chem Alliance. That's us. We are military commissariat. This government is nominally democratic, with the dividing line between the civil administration and the military having blurred to the point where they are largely become one and the same. So is Shoot the name of our leader, and his title is Aquamarine? I don't know. What are we? So we are fanatic xenophiles and militarist. We are fleeting, which means we don't live very long. Non-adaptive, rapid breeders, that's good. Agrarian and intelligent. Cool, that means we can research stuff more quickly. Nice. Oh yeah, no, we've got to be some kind of plant life, because the our military, our only military fleet is called the First Bouquet. That's not intimidating at all. I kind of love it. In the eons since the first primitive Canthari communities took shape in the archipelagos and lagoons of Canthar Shulk, our civilization has spread and prospered. As we advance through the ages, many of our earliest nation-states suffered greatly from the constant power struggles between the military and civilian institutions that govern society. A compromise was reached in a new form of government, where one could not exist without the other. I kind of flubbed that last line, but we move on. Now, after the discovery of the Hyperlane Network, the finest minds of the Canthari Alliance have finished development of the first hyperdrives. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. So yeah, as opposed to something like Crusader Kings 2, where you just kind of start wherever you want within this general, like, I think it's like a 300 or 400 year period of history with no real goals. This it's a lot more gamey, really, and that's not a bad thing by any means. So your start date is always the first day of the first month of the year 200, or of the year 2200, where your species has just discovered faster than light travel by one of 3 means: either warp travel, hyperlanes, or hyperdrives, or whatever you want to call them, and then wormhole travel, which seems weird and complicated, and I don't want to deal with it yet. But, you know, whatever, we'll start up, because explaining things is for tutorials, and I'm not a tutorial. I am human. Well, excuse me, I am Canthari, actually. Yeah, we're fungoid. Okay, I figured as much. So yeah, so first things first, let's take our science ship and survey the system. This game is a real-time strategy. It's not turn-based. There's some turn-based elements to it with the months ticking by, but by and large, time ticks past one day at a time. Let's look at our planet, yeah? What do we got? We've already got a basic science lab, we got some power plants, planetary administration, it's not a capital yet. Let's clear off some of these tiles. Let's clear away some of these sprawling slums. We float, apparently. We're, like, buoyant. That's cool. And what I really like about this game, as opposed to, like, Civilization Beyond Earth, is that, like, there are aliens that feel alien, that have their own civilizations and stuff, and it's not just replacement barbarians that, despite being aliens, are less interesting than the barbarians. Also, this game has really great music that you can just flip through as you want, which is a nice little touch. Shall we look at the galaxy? Let's go and look at the galaxy, because this gives you a sense of the scope. So here's our little corner of things, right? And these are all these little points of light are stars, and the lines between them are hyperlanes that our species will use to travel. This is the whole galaxy, right? All of these points of lights are stars with planets around them, and those planets could have resources, or they could even be habitable. And there are 3 other civilizations, and these things aren't all necessarily stars either. You can also find, like, quasars, and black holes, and pulsars. Actually, I'm not sure if you can find quasars, because those are the supermassive black holes that, like, shoot light out from the accretion disk, but that's beside the point. But yeah, you can find, like, black holes, which give physics research, which makes a certain amount of sense, I suppose. For now, we're just gonna stick with our own little solar system here. I'm curious to see what's going on inside Bulb, the gas giant Bulb. A leader has gained a level. Scientist White Fruit. Also, you know what's better than being evergreen? Being evergreener. Okay, so we've actually made progress on this. The CAS Evergreener has picked up some curious readings from Bulb. There are significant pockets of radiation in the gas giant's atmosphere that appear to be the result of intense orbital bombardment, what someone could hope to gain by bombing a gas giant from orbit remains a mystery, however. As the CAS Evergreener was preparing to break orbit, Science Officer White Fruit discovered a weak signal coming from the planet's interior. It may be a transmission of some kind, but the gas giant's background radiation makes it difficult to isolate. We should investigate the signal. Yeah, no, we should absolutely lose nothing. Everything to gain. Ooh, also, we need to start on some research. Yellow nectar, khaki fruit, and ebony nectar. Ooh, these are fun names. So what do we... So, in the game, you can... you have 3 paths of research that you can go down. Physics, society, and engineering. So what do we want to look into? I think the solar panel network is something we can add to space stations. Administrative AI is probably the thing to start off with. But I think I want to do the monthly influence thing, because influence it's really valuable. It's pretty narrow in its uses, but where those uses exist, it's really valuable, and you don't get a lot of it per month. It helps to stock up on it early on, I suppose. Let's go for powered exoskeletons, because minerals are nice. Ooh, we might not get to isolate that signal, because I'm not sure if we're going to get a scientist leveled up more quickly enough. I mean, White Fruit might actually get up to level 3. And what the science ship is currently doing right now, it's surveying the star system, which means that I get to see what resources these planets will generate. But really, where you're going to be doing a lot of your resource generating is on the planetary surfaces themselves, where you can build structures to capitalize on resources on the planet itself. And the good news is that our species is rapid breeders, which means that the populations, and each little guy on one of these tiles, and this whole thing represents the surface of the planet, these little guys are called pops, which is just short for population. But that means that our pops will grow more quickly. And the fact that our species is fleeting does not affect the pops whatsoever. That only affects leaders, because, like, your scientists and governors and like the leader of your civilization and individual planetary governors will die after a certain number of years, and there's ways that you can extend lifetime. So we've got the system surveyed, which is good. No other resources, which is kind of a bummer. But what that means we can do now... Oh, wait, Stargrove has an anomaly, Stargrove, which is a moon of the planet Future, it's got an anomaly going on. What up? Efforts to map the surface of this moon have identified a strange mountain formation in the southern hemisphere. It does not appear to have formed naturally. Ooh, intrigue. Let's research it. Gigantic scale. Ooh! What was previously thought to be assorted mountains in the southern hemisphere of Stargrove have been identified as the massive skeletal remains of a single colossal alien life form. The bones have been dated as 3.4 billion years old, but our scientists have ruled out that Stargrove could have supported life on that scale at any point in the moon's history. Science Officer White Fruit has prepared a special research project to delve further into this mystery. Fascinating. Like, actually genuinely fascinating. Can we research this? No, because we don't have the skill. But it's not timed, though. Let's investigate. Let's map another system. Let's look at Docile, or Docile, or possibly Docile. So we're going to send this off to survey this star system, which is relatively unknown. We know the number of planets it has in it, which I guess is 5. But that's all. And we don't know if they're habitable or nothing. So we're gonna find out. What's the likelihood, do we think, of White Fruit becoming getting to level 3 within the next, like, 3-ish months? Not great, are we thinking? Because I'm thinking it's not that great. Which is a shame, but at least we'll be able to investigate the skeleton just kind of like whenever. Ooh! There are 2 potentially habitable planets around this star. That's a good sign. Is this technically part of our borders? It is. It is, yes. So we don't have to build, like, platforms or anything. Or not platforms, the frontier outposts. Every time I go to build another science ship, something pops up and distracts me. We've recovered an artifact from an ancient alien civilization. There are several references to some sort of plague called the Javorian pox, which swept across their empire with devastating results, possibly leading to their extinction. Interesting, so that's some sort of forerunner species, which is cool, yeah, precursor species, so you can recover artifacts from ancient spacefaring civilizations, and stuff happens. It's cool. Now, before I forget, let's build another science ship. Intelligent life taunts with pointed absence, reads a popular Newsnet post on Canthar Shuck. The people of the Canthari Alliance are apparently finding some humor in the fact that lower forms of alien life are now a matter of public record, but potential equals from other stars continue to elude us. So I guess they're referring to the habitable worlds that we found elsewhere. Ooh! More signs of the, the Eurasian Concordant, or whatever it was called. Can we research it? We can. Cool. Let's do that thing, then. So I guess the people back on Canthar Shuck are amused. Special project failed? Oh, that's the gas giant thing. Okay. That's unfortunate, but whatever. Told you it wasn't going to happen. So here we recruit leaders, like governors and admirals and generals and scientists. So we're going to recruit a scientist, obviously. Scientist Brown Weed. Well, with a name like that. Although Green Frond is younger and has a more useful skill in that he or she or they, I'm going to go with they, because they're careful, which means a lower anomaly fail risk, so we're going to do that. Like the eager thing, I do brown weed, and that name is a very compelling argument in and of itself. But we're going to recruit Green Frond. Assign them to the CAS Pithy. Let's beam back over to them. And let's look at Sadatoni. Sadatoni? Sadatoni. No, Sadatoni. Sadatoni. That sounds better. So what's going on, y'all? Ooh! Encounter in Satatoni. Ooh. We've encountered some form of alien vessel in the Satatoni system. These strange objects have been flagged as alpha aliens until we can learn more about them. We should proceed with caution, almost certainly. Contact report, enigmatic spacefarers. News of alien ships humming through the ether have reached Canthar Shuk, in many ways ending the first chapter in the book of the Chem Alliance's bid for a stellar empire. Fact. Probably wouldn't hurt to, start building up our fleet just a little bit. I mean, if we're not alone in the galaxy, and demonstrably we're not. Ooh! Habitable Worlds Survey. We now know, without a doubt, that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Canthar Shuk. Yeah. First catalog, blah, blah, blah. So, we could either just be like, nah, fuck it. In terms of finding more habitable worlds, and just get some influence right off the bat, or we could start this whole chain of events, and I'm inclined to do that, because we want to be searching for habitable worlds anyway. Actually, come to think of it, I should check what my policies are. I mean, we are, like, militaristic, so yeah, we got unrestricted war policy, minimal food stockpiling, I'm going to turn that to balanced, yes. Limited orbital bombardment, but we can still do it. Prohibited resettlement, which is weird. Aggressive first contact policy, which is fine. Slavery is prohibited, which is fine. Purges are prohibited, which is fine, I guess. Yeah, we're not xenophobic or authoritarian, so we can't... So, purging is... or prohibited is the only purge policy that we can have. Those things represent our ethics, like the fact that we're xenophiles, fanatically so, and we're militarists. That's very difficult to change. I want to start building up some unity, because that's a new thing that the DLC added, which lets you do really cool stuff, like control a whole bunch of more planets directly, or start like building megastructures out in space, like orbital habitats and stuff. It's neat stuff. The unity kind of works a lot like social policies and Civ do. But anyway, how's this going? Ooh! We've got a thing, we can't build anything around it yet, but we're gonna enter orbit, so that when we've got the resources, we can build that mining station, like, stat. Docile 3, which is another oceanic world. That is very appealing to me, because that's like ideal colonization candidate right there. Once we get that technology, still have a better part of 3 years left. Like 2.5 years. Let's look at our demographics. We are all Canthari all the time, and the way I see it, object has been detected in direct course. Oh no! Okay, so we've encountered more aliens now in the Cantho system, so that's our home system there. Let's go and see what's going on there. Behold, the space sperm. Yeah, no, Docile 3 is 70% habitable, which is well above the 60% that you need for habitation, so that's cool. What? It's a desert? It's a dry... Yeah, it's a desert. So, yeah, no, that's on the complete other end of the whole fucking hydrosphere, so we're not going to be able to settle there whatsoever. And I think I mentioned this, that, habitable worlds are not super-duper common. And statistically, they're probably more common than they actually are, like, in the Milky Way galaxy, to be fair. As far as we know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. What is it, October 2018, I think we're launching the James Webb Space Telescope. So, who knows? Okay. So we get to adopt a unity tradition. You get 7 trees of these things, 5 traits each. Expansion, domination, prosperity, harmony, supremacy, diplomacy, and discovery. Once you research, or once you unlock all 5 within a particular tree, which actually takes 6 individual, like, tradition points or whatever, because you first have to adopt it, and then you have to get each of the things, again, very much like Civ, actually. Then you get to unlock an Ascension perk, and these are cool. We'll talk about them as we come to them. I want to do Discovery, because I like technology stuff, and it's useful. And adopting it, research station build costs are reduced by 33%, which is nice. So we've fully surveyed both of those systems. Let's go further. Survey that system. You can survey this system. No, let's survey that system. Let's send you guys off in different directions. I'm curious, actually, how fast the hyperlane travel is, because the the warp works a little bit differently, where you don't have to go on these set paths. Instead, you have a range that your ship can warp to, and increasing that will increase sort of the number of stars that it gets to skip past, moving from one to another. I think the hyper flight... Oh, yeah, damn, that's much, much quicker. That is substantially quicker. Damn, that's fast. Goodness me. Who are these guys? These more the... Yeah, there's the Alpha Aliens again. It looks like these guys might be warping at that speed, but I'm not 100% sure. Or they might be using that wormhole travel thing, which again, I don't really understand fully. Hopefully we'll find a habitable planet here. Oh, I thought that was water. It's not. It's dust. We have... Oh yeah, we've definitely got enough resources to build this thing now. Yeah, let's do that. Build a mining station. Any other... Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Nifty! So we'll be able to build a station around there, and then a station around Satatoni 1, and then hopefully we'll find another mineable planet elsewhere. And indeed we have. Unfortunately, this star is not within our space, which means we would have to build a frontier outpost around the star, so it's part of our borders. The downside of that is that frontier outposts cost 1 influence per month to maintain. Would prefer not to keep too much of those up and running all at once. Scanning the star unveils a small object in rapid orbit. Its small size and high velocity makes it difficult for our sensors to isolate. It's Russell's teapot! We found it! Have I mentioned I really like this game? Because, yeah, I really like this game. And I got back into it when I saw the stuff about the DLC, because I was like, ooh, that looks interesting. That's a Dyson Sphere. Me likey. Yes, I'm enough of a nerd to have known what a Dyson Sphere was, and being able to identify it upon just seeing it in like the trailer thing before I even saw it. It was like, and then I just was able to later confirm, oh yeah, no, that's a Dyson Sphere. But anyway, and assuming that Stellaris follows the model of things like Hearts of Iron 3 and Crusader Kings 2, it's gonna get a lot of DLC, and I almost kind of would prefer it to not get a sequel, and for it to just keep getting expanded upon, because like frickin' Crusader Kings 2 probably came out something like 6 or 7 years ago. It might be a little bit shorter than that, but not by much. And it's gotten tons and tons and tons of DLC, like multiple sequels worth of new content attached to it. You know, to see that much progress lost just to go to a sequel, I mean, it's the same issue that you run into, like, with a new installment to the Sims series. It's like, but the Sims 3 already has, you know, vampires and boats. But yeah, no, the DLC got me back into it. I'm glad that it did, because it's so cool! It's very cool. We've gotten a report from Science Officer Green Frond. Seems that a ceramic container... This turns out to be a fucking teapot. I'm gonna lose it. It's a ceramic container. It is the teapot. It's Russell's teapot. We found it. A conundrum worth investing. We could get 40 influence. I gotta see what this is, though. Because I was making a joke. Okay, so... Hold on. Let's get White Fruit, who is a level 2 scientist, over here to research the project. Because I gotta fucking know, man. Because if this does turn out to be a teapot, I was making a joke. Oh, also, another feature of this game that I love. If you hit Control F9, you turn off most of the HUD, so you can just, like, see that little speck of a starship just flying across the system there to do its thing. And this game presents itself so very, very well. I mean, just look at that. But yeah, no, like, if you've never seen gameplay of Crusader Kings 2, like, it's a super compelling game, just because of the style of it, and the fact that it's so much more concerned about, like, internal politics and, like, medieval intrigue. It's very Game of Thronesy, in that respect. It's really something. But the presentation, like the graphics are not very impressive at all, and even just like the menus, like if all this nonsense looks cumbersome, you ain't seen nothing yet, because at least like this is like sci-fi and it's nice and like neat and laid out and better explained. But Crusader Kings 2 it's got a lot of sort of medieval stylization to it. Ooh, yes. Yep. I like being able to build populations. I do. But you can't do it if your species is religious. Now. As I discovered upon booting up an old save when I already had a religious civilization and I had plenty of robots, and then they all got deconstructed because there was an update with the DLC. Anyway, some kind of unknown structures are floating in this gas giant's upper atmosphere. They appear to be using an aerostatic lift to remain buoyant. Yeah, let's research that. And that is Green Front, who's just leveled up now. That's good. Good for him. Let's build a mining station there. Ooh! I found another potentially habitable planet. It's an ocean world, so it certainly would appear to be habitable. We've not surveyed it yet, so that's why we don't actually have like an absolute read on how habitable it is. And quite frankly, like if there's like a whole bunch of like negative stuff, like some kind of like a toxic atmosphere or hostile wildlife or something, that can reduce the habitability to the point that even like a fairly well-suited world is not going to be habitable, or there could be other aspects that make it even more habitable than like the 60 or 70% that it's supposed to be. We move on. Space Amoebas. The entities encountered by our fleets some time ago are new wondrous forms of spaceborne life, quickly nicknamed Space Amoeba. Following an analyst's gross misreading of initial sensor output, the creatures are in fact larger than the average Cantharian corvette. Corvette meaning the spaceship, not like a car. We should leave it be and remotely monitor the creature and its kin from Canthar shock. That's probably for the best. A small asteroid colony was found floating just above the atmosphere of Pile of 5. It appears to have been self-sufficient, and remains from several different species were found on board. As best we can tell, the colony was some kind of social experiment conducted centuries ago that ultimately ended with the colonists massacring each other. Jesus. We've downloaded all of the data from the colony's limited data banks. Cool. So that we just got a major boost to our society research, which probably is going to top out our research, actually. No, apparently not. Unless I guess it could. I don't know. Be done. I'm not used to having our society output so low because I've been playing in a much more advanced Civ for Empire, whatever. Here's our glorious leader, Commissary General Aquamarine Shoot. So we've got 2 potentially habitable worlds that we're looking at. We're very nearly done with all that, which is good. Let's clear away this tile, so we can start generating at least 1 extra society research per turn. What else do we want to do? What else could we possibly want to do? Like a week away now from being done with the research, which is great. Let's do that. And we'll up our, yeah, there we go. Galactic Ambition. Border range expands, which it's not a bad idea. But let's, I mean, since we don't have the New Worlds Protocol, which is unfortunate, let's just go for a heritage site, because that'll increase Unity, which lets us get new Unity traditions more quickly. Build a research station over Docile 3. And then, yeah. We can build an engineering research station over Docile 2A. Because Docile 2 in and of itself is just a fucking boring place. It's got nothing to offer to anyone. Our Black Front has leveled up and gained the trait Architectural Interest. Do we have a governor? Who's the governor? Oh. Okay, I didn't think we had any leaders. I guess we do. Did I miss that somehow? Oh, no, it's just, I was recruiting scientists, and that's not going to show up in the site. I gotcha. I gotcha. So he's got a architectural interest. That's good. That's going to reduce, building costs and building speed. Nice. Now, I will say internal politics in Stellaris are way cut down from Crusader Kings 2. There's nothing on the level of, like, it's like, well, you know, my half-sister through my wife's second cousin is plotting a coup against me, so I'm going to have her assassinated, and then the assassin failed because he's a moron, which I should have seen because of his traits, and so now I have to go to war with the Pope for reasons. It's nothing quite like nothing quite like that, but they have added a little bit. Like, there were factions in the base game that were just like rebel factions. It's just like people stirring shit up. Now the factions are a lot more like internal political parties and political movements within your society. The benefit of that is that each of them has like specific goals and like specific desires that if you meet those like principles, if your actions align with their interests, then they actually provide additional influence to you, which is cool. And you also have the option to spend influence to either like promote this group so that more members of the population pick it up, or to like actively suppress it. It's interesting. And if you have a hive mind government, that's just not going to happen at all. And yes, you can have a hive mind government. So that's pretty cool. This is a cool game, man. It's neat. And you feel like the weight of the time that passes. You know, like it's been 5 years, almost 6, since our species discovered the first stable, pathway to, hyperspace FTL travel. We're only going up. Like my I think that the game that I've been playing on for a while, I think we're about to get to year 200 of the whole species since the game began. So it's like, going to be 2400. It's cool stuff. I'm not sure if there's an upward limit on how long you can push a game, because I mean there are going to be some really interesting stories from people like in the year 5,000 or 10,000 with just like an entire galaxy just fully colonized with like ring worlds and orbital habitats, and the whole, like, at the center of the galaxy there are just these huge Dyson Sphere farms and these massive sectors of planets, because you're limited to the number of planets you can control effectively directly, and in our case we're limited down to 3. But I don't know, I hope that's the case. I hope that you're not limited in that way, because that would be neat. Ooh, another perk. Scientist recruitment cost. Anomaly discovery chance increases by... Yeah, let's do that. Negative balance in energy? Shoot. That's not good. Well, let's move someone somewhere else. Wait, we're okay on minerals. We're not great on food to be moving people off food, so let's just do that. Bam. All good in the hood. Cool. That's probably what set us off, actually. No, that's the research station. Let's get the construction ship and send you on over here. Research station is monthly maintenance of 1 energy, which is fine. Ooh. We've tried everything in order to find out how the ceramic pot ended up in stellar orbit. Maybe we are all crazy. Maybe it does not even exist. Guess what? We tried calculating around those facts as well. We are done. There is nothing interesting. Okay, cool. So at least we get some benefit out of that. We tried calculating around those facts as well. We are done. There is nothing more we can do here. The only plus side to this is that we had tons of time to spend on philosophical and economical questions. Economical? Yeah, economical. I thought that might be ecumenical, but no, it's economical questions when we could not stomach to keep investigating that damned thing. My only response is, why? 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 So, we will embrace the futility of life's questions and gain 150 influence. Cool. We completely derailed an entire scientific research vessel. But on the plus side, we discovered some nifty stuff. And we have another potentially habitable planet. Goodness. And even if, and this is where this game gets really cool and lets you do the kinds of things that you want to be able to do in like a sci-fi, Star Trek type game like this, is you get to these star systems where you have a planet that's habitability is only maybe 30% or less. And you're like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? There's a lot of things you can do with that, actually. You can take certain subsets of a planet's population, of your species population, and genetically modify them to be adaptable to a desert climate or a jungle climate or whatever. You can bring in new species into your empire through conquest or through discovering primitive species and giving them advanced technology and then inviting them into your civilization through vassalization and then subsequent integration. The ones that's really cool is, and they're all really cool, is you can, with certain technology, you can terraform the planet. Initially just within its own, hydrosphere, so you can turn a desert planet into a savanna or a rainforest into a continental world. But eventually, and these projects take 10 years, by the way, but you could turn a desert into an oceanic planet. You could turn a frozen Arctic world into, a lush, arid, or in arid plains. It's really cool stuff. I really dig it. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what other kinds of DLC that they can get, because there's so much creative energy in this game, and it's so much more accessible than something like Crusader Kings. Even though I think they're powered by the same engine, I believe it's the Clausewitz engine, or the Clausewitz. I don't know how it's pronounced. I might be getting that wrong, that they're both wrong. I don't know. It's good though. It's good, man. If you like it, pick it up, because it's fun, and it's only it retails on full price for $40, I think. Pick it up on sale sometime. It's all good. There are gas giants and moons and ocean planets. It's all really cool. Am I gonna end the video there? I think I might end the video there, because I've been recording for a while, and I haven't recorded in a while, and I'm thirsty, and I want to check how much space I've taken up on my hard drive while recording. So, until next time, my name is Ned Finn. Thank you all for watching.